Um, in front of the City Hall in Albia, Iowa, and it's a monument to the veterans from the Civil War, which include my relatives, Charles McLean, and the Catterns, James Cattern and Joseph Cattern, in this wonderful town of Albia. And this is the town square we're looking at. It's a wonderful old town, and I found someone to help me with the history, so in a minute we'll be over there. There's the antique owner, just left the local pub. And now we're coming into the City Hall, the famous clock, and today is July 22nd, 1994. And I'm going to now walk. And I will tell you is that I've been over in the library, the genealogical library, looking for research on the history of Monroe County, and one of my finds today is that not only were the McLeans from Albia, but so were the Catterns. Now, my grandfather graduated from Mount Ayr, which is about an hour-and-a-half drive from here southeast. And what I found out from the local genealogist is that there was a lot of movement during this time. Minerva McLean, who was the daughter of Charles McLean, who died in the Civil War in 1863 in Battle of Shiloh. Minerva McLean married Joseph Cattern. He also died at a young age. And Minerva followed her son Frank out to California, and Frank Cattern is my grandfather, and he married my grandmother, who was Clara Louise Drysdale Newton. And we're coming now. They've had a sidewalk fair today, so this is one of the people that lives here, has a farm near here. I hope she tells you about it. And knows a lot, seems to know a lot about the history. So, yourself.
My name's Bonnie Hall. I live in Albia, Iowa. And I'll tell you what I know about Monroe County. I've lived here about 7 years, but I've lived all my life in Iowa. I just grew up north of here about 30 miles. I live on a farm. We milk cows. I have 6 children. What I know of the... Is that surprising?
Well, my sister has 9. I come from a family of 6, so I relate to that.
What I've been told about the history of Monroe County is it used to be, at the turn of the century, it was a huge coal mining county. Had about 3 times our population. I think our population right now is around 10,000. And everything has somewhat gone downhill since then in the way of numbers.
Are you talking about Albia or the whole county?
The county, Monroe County.
Great.
Albia is the biggest town in it, and we only have probably under 4,000 people, and so it's pretty spread out. Lots of room. A lot of little towns that were around here that were booming at one time and are almost nothing towns now. So you said you had a relative in La Villa. It was a big coal mining town.
That was Joseph Cattern, yes.
Yeah.
But evidently he didn't stay there. I mean, that's what's strange. But when they came from the infantry, the same group seemed to be together, and that would make sense.
So you don't know whether they were involved in the coal mining or whether they farmed. Maybe they farmed.
I think they were farmers.
Because there's a lot of course, everything around here is farming. A lot of cattle. Not a lot of the row crops, mainly because this area is hillier, and that's why you have the coal mining. I happen to live on a farm that has coal mines underneath it. And a lot of little areas where people tell us that on our property, in fact, that railroad tracks used to go through carrying coal, and we can find the places where the tracks used to run, and a lot of roads that used to run in places that no longer do. So it would have been interesting to see this area at around 1900, because after that, I guess it really has changed. North of this town of Albia, about 10 miles, there used to be a town called Buxton, and I've been told, I think it was around 6,000, mostly blacks, and there's nothing left of it anymore. It's completely gone. Once the coal mine shut down, it's just completely gone, the whole town. And it was very prosperous, I guess. They've written books about it. They've done public television things about it. It was kind of interesting to find out that there's one thing left, I guess, is one brick building of some kind. And
well, what happened to all the blacks?
Dispersed, went elsewhere. They all worked in the coal mines, I guess. I mean, that was the coal mines or something that was related to the coal mines. It was as though if agriculture shut down, you would shut down a lot of other related services.
Right.
So when the coal mines left, there's some coal mining done around here, but not nearly on the scale that it was. Towns, they're trying to not redo it, but they're trying to redo storefronts, and we have a lot of things in town, like, boy, it's too bad you can't be here for Restoration Days. That's coming up in August.
I saw that.
Are you going to be here in August?
No, I have to go back Sunday.
Because everybody dresses up in, well, not everybody, Victorian costumes.
Oh, how wonderful.
And they do have box suppers, picnic suppers, and they do just all kinds of neat things. At Christmas time, they have a Victorian stroll.
Oh, how
lovely.
lovely.
And they take all the windows are like a living Christmas card, and it's all done in Victorian costume.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I wish you could get information on that or see something on it. They have a parade. Well, Restoration Days will have a big parade, and a lot of people will be in costume. They'll have horses and buggies with Victorian type costumes. It's really interesting.
Neat.
Yeah.
That's really great.
It comes up in August, I believe, about the third weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it starts August 4th, actually.
Oh, is it? Maybe it's earlier this year.
Yeah, I think it is. I saw the sign coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? What can I tell you about the town?
Well, one of the things they said in the genealogist in the library that I was in said that there was a lot of movement around here during the. Now I'm talking before 1860.
I would say that was probably right.
Yeah,
probably this whole southern Iowa area, because there was a lot of coal mining in the southern part of Iowa.
Really?
And I think you probably.
Well,
population was probably a lot higher, in all these counties in the southern part of Iowa.
Now, I know that one family is German and one family is Scotch. Do you know yourself that?
Well, see, I didn't grow up here. I'm Dutch. I grew up in Pella, about 30 miles north of here.
Oh, there's a Dutch community up there, isn't it?
Pella is a Dutch community. And when you get north of here about 20 miles, that's where evidently whether the coal seams, I mean, there's just nothing north of that. It just seemed like it was just about, so where I grew up, there was no coal mining in that area at all.
Really?
Yeah, it just stopped at a certain point, and so I grew up with just farmers. I mean, Pella was a farming town. There's industries there now. They have the roll screen company, makes windows and doors, and Vermeer.
Is it a small town?
Pella is about 10,000. It's bigger than Albia.
Yes.
Yeah. Very, very nice town, very clean.
Now, I noticed that town where my grandfather went to high school, even though it is a...
you went through Mount Air.
It's I haven't been there yet, but it's in Ringgold County seat, and it's very tiny.
Yeah, you'll find that mostly in southern Iowa. You'll find everything is small.
Why is that?
Because there's only farming, and the farming is not as prosperous. In other words, it's...
the farms look beautiful.
Well, yeah, but see, they're so hilly that you can't do a lot of row cropping, so it's all cows, and it just isn't the land isn't as good.
I see.
It's too rocky. It's too hilly. When you get north of here about 20 miles, then you hit more of the rolling stuff. And did you come over on the interstate at all, Interstate 80, or did you come all back ways?
Yes.
Well, you could see how a lot of that was just nice flat rolling fields of corn and beans.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Well, once you get south of 80, a little ways, then you kind of lose a lot of that. The land changes and
Yes, that's interesting.
it rolls too much and it's rocky and the farming isn't as prosperous. So people don't stay around as much. The soil isn't as nice and black.
Now, did you always want to stay here in Iowa? Was this your...
Well, we've thought about it. We like Colorado somewhat, but it'd be awfully hard to leave, mainly because the cost of living is so much higher.
Yes, it is.
The price of land is so much higher, and I'm used to greenery, and everything is brown out there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we're used to, and you can see how everything is.
Yes, it is.
We have the humidity in the summer sometimes. This is an extraordinarily nice day for Iowa in the summer. Usually, ordinarily this time of year will be 90, 95 with probably 80 to 100% humidity. So this is unusual. We had the floods last year.
Did you ever find it boring?
Boring in Iowa?
Yeah.
No.
But you know, it's kind of funny. I just left Wisconsin, and I was there, and it was very, I was in farm country and whatever. And this young girl was talking about how she could hardly wait to leave Wisconsin because there was nothing to do. And I looked around, I thought there was bike riding, there's bird watching, there's so many interesting things you can do and get interested in. But, she wanted a little more excitement.
Imagine. Well, I guess it's what you're looking for. I'm a Christian and I'm not a party person. So for me, simple things make do, I guess. And I don't bike, I just work on the farm. When I was younger, I worked. I mean, my parents ran a business and I worked all the time, and then I wanted to earn my own money, so I've always just had a job, and now I have 6 children, so that's about all we do is work. And I'm just here today selling excess produce out of my garden.
It's beautiful. You even have your flowers.
Children, and they all help me. And so we made a deal that as much as possible, they help me pick and wash, and whatever money we make, we'll put it in a kitty and then do family things.
Now, what it would be a family thing to do?
Oh, let's see. My children eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
So we don't eat out at restaurants very often because you can't fill them up. But for instance, Atomo has a restaurant where they have a buffet, and we can afford to buy them an all-you-can-eat buffet. And so if we can have enough money to do that occasionally, they would enjoy that.
That's great. That's great.
Those kinds of things. Going out to eat. See, we milk cows. We have a small dairy, about 20, 25 cows, and my 3 middle boys help their dad milk every day, so that means that you have to be home in the morning and then you have to be home again by 4 in the afternoon to milk for the evening milking. So that doesn't leave a lot of, we do things during the day, activities.
What about the little girl that came here, the Vietnamese girl?
No, she's a Korean. We have 4 adopted Korean children.
You do?
Yes.
I've been to Korea.
Have you? Oh,
yes,
it's a lovely country.
On a special grant. A friend of mine adopted a Korean
Really?
child.
Oh yeah, it's been
And
great.
living up in San Jose, and I have lots of friends who are Koreans. I've been in principal of schools with Korean children,
Yeah,
so
aren't they neat?
that's how I got to go on this grant.
Oh, that's really
So
neat.
yeah, it is.
The daughter that was here is, I have a biological daughter who's 21, and she's at Central College in Peller, starting there again next month. And then Becky is my next daughter, and she's got 1 more year of school. We homeschool our children. And
Why is that?
because we believe in Christian education, and well, for a lot of reasons. There isn't a good quality Christian school close by. And we feel like we can give them a better education than they could receive in the public school. And we can teach them the way we think it's correct to teach them. And there are a lot more reasons than that. Your family's a lot closer. It simplifies your life a lot in some ways. You don't have school activities running your life. So they get a better education. It's more one-on-one.
Interesting.
She's a trained nurse's assistant, or a nurse's aide, I'm sorry, works in a nursing home. She wants to go into nursing, so she's looking for scholarships. I'd like to find out about if there's any scholarships, especially for any Korean children. We're kind of starting to look into some of that. And then I have 3 boys after that. Becky, the girl that was here, and then her 2 brothers next down, we adopted them they've been here now, let's see, at the end of this month, they've been here about 9 years.
Really?
They were older when they came, they're siblings. They were 5, 7, and 9. And then we adopted also a baby in our books. Our son Joshua was 10, and then we had another biological, so we had 6.
Great.
And we're just busy on the farm, and
Sounds like a good life.
yeah, we're like satisfies me. I wouldn't have time or energy to do a lot more.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.